Yeah, I don't know if people want to talk, but I was interviewing this like trans person, and their like artist boyfriend was talking the whole time, or doing like art, background noise, but like they were like, yeah, I was in the army back when that was a thing, like you get kicked out for it and all that. And I just wanted to hear like what do they do there, what kind of MREs they take, stuff like that, instead of the kids. But I was just like, yeah, I just hang out with all kinds of weirdos. So.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind getting into like podcasting myself because like I'm the type of person that like I'm hungry for knowledge. I want to know more, learn more in life and down the road. I mean, I'm the type of person that like even when I was in my interview, they're asking me questions, so I'm asking them questions too. And then just in the orientation, like I'm asking, I'm a lead for my new job and starting, and I'm asking them like tough questions, like like shit that people don't normally ask.
What do you do?
Um, right now I'm just kind of going back in the workforce. I was in school for 2 years. Um, I
Like
dropped out.
construction or?
I started in construction in 2020. My first major was IRB, integrated residential builder.
Okay.
So I was gonna do like houses. And
So what's
stuff.
integrated in that fashion?
That's just the title of the major. For the most part, it was going to be going in like house construction, building homes and stuff like that. Um, COVID hit right around that semester, and they dropped everybody to online distance learning.
Yeah.
So it got hard, being from home. My kids, need need the TV or need a cup of juice or something. I'm trying to give a speech or trying to do research. Or it was just hard to focus, at home with my kids.
Right.
Um, so I ended up switching majors and going back, thinking that would help. So my second semester, I went back for business management because you can go in any direction, with that kind of degree.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm still not quite sure what I really want to do or what I don't want to do, down the road. With a business management degree, just to own my own business or, go into partnership with somebody at some point.
Yeah.
Somebody with the same kind of vision that I have. But as of right now, I really don't have a vision. I dropped back up in the spring due to, the fact that it was so hard to focus on, work and stuff. Yeah, life hits you upside the head along with COVID. Everything else just kind of,
Yeah.
I'm either waiting for shit to fall into place or like, I want it to happen, but it's like you gotta go out and get it. You can't just, sit around and wait for it to happen. But with college and shit, it was going good. I made about 3 semesters totally. I got probably about halfway through my business credits. So I do plan on returning once my kids, are off into school and stuff, kindergarten and things like that, because they're still, in diapers and whatnot.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, real quick, I just met you guys. It's Trey and Mikey?
Yeah, I'm Trey, and this is my brother Mike.
Hey, so, yeah, like, two native gentlemen here, and you got, what do you call them, the vests? And
Cut.
you call them a cut.
Yep.
Another cut.
Why is that? The way it's cut? Oh, okay. They got patches.
Yeah.
Mike's a critical founder, this, that, and the other, so. Secretary, Dave Williams, Red Lake Nation.
How much your kids? How many kids you got? And
My fourth is on the way in January.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I'm a pretty busy father. When I'm not doing biker stuff, and when I wasn't in college, I was, just a stay-at-home dad. Like I said, I'm returning back to the workforce. Um, I got a lead position. It's not the title's not supervisor, but my job duties are supervisory type, job duties. But basically, I'd be going back to work up in Bemidji for Pizza Ranch. Just kind of getting myself back in the door of the workforce. Like I said, I want to own my own business at some point. So this is just temporary, pays the bills.
What would you do? Like house building or more like commercial stuff?
For construction, I used to do it when I was a teenager. I got in with a lot of Mexican companies that would do roofs and stuff, and I just started with the grunt work and working my way up, and it got easier, and it was something that I knew, as a trade, paid well, so that's why I wanted to go into that kind of industry. But like I said, COVID kind of changed everything when I was in school, so I returned back with that business degree. And like I said, I'm still not sure what I want to do, what direction I want to go with it, but I know that eventually I want to own my own business. Being that I'm already in the food industry, I kind of wanted to just start off with like a food truck and move my way up from there. Because honestly, that'll pay for itself within the first year. If I get some kind of travel loan or something to help me get my business started, get on my feet, I believe, the way it works is, you wouldn't have to pay back, just a percentage in order to own it, and then it'll pay back itself within the first year. You know what I mean? So in the long run, it's a business that I could take and take the profits and either expand, get another secondary food truck, one that stays stationary, one that travels to like Paul's. What I want to do is like bring cultural food, Native American stuff, like, and then tamales, and then just like, just have a
Like
variety.
what is human native food?
Like wild rice, egg rolls, fried bread burgers, fried bread tacos, red dogs,
Good,
fried
yeah.
red dog, jalapeno bratwurst dog,
Okay.
barbecue, just things that you throw together in your mind, things that sound good in your head, like, and then, oh, boom, you go to, like a powwow stand. If you ever been to a powwow and you go and you buy the food on, the outer circle and stuff, I'm going to be offering that kind of food to the general public, not just on weekends and not just at powwows. Like, I'm going to be pulling up to a block, let's say Anoka. I have to come down here for, like, Tony was just talking about how Halloween be popping out here. I could be coming up, pulling up my food truck and just,
Yeah, there's usually 2 or 3 big food trucks.
Right. And that's not the lane that I'm trying to, necessarily stay in. That's just something to get started with. Like I said, I want to own my own business. Food trucks just, the beginning.
The main thing, but yeah.
But I mean, that's not even like my dream. That's just something that's gonna, basically help pay the bills, but it'd be my own business.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's the direction that I'm going with my business degree right now. But otherwise, honestly, I'm a stay-at-home dad. I just want to pay the rent and bills. I want to take care of my kids and provide for my family. I met this brother quite a few years ago. We had to go way back, but coming into this lifestyle that we're in now, indigenous bikers, it's showing me a new way of life. It's showing me a lot of things that I never knew in life. 5 years ago, I didn't know how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty new at this. I'm still learning how to carry myself as a member, or just proper etiquette.
Yeah, I hear stories about these big groups rolling down the road, stuff like this.
No, it's fun, man, and honestly, like, when you jump on a bike, it's a whole new, like, freedom. You're American, so you already have that freedom, but to jump on a bike and just feel it between your legs, it's a whole different feeling of freedom.
See where we're wrong, man.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, basically.
Yeah, this, we go way, like I said, we go way back. We come from, teenagers, in South Minneapolis, like, the gang lifestyle back then, and we grew out of that, and, now we're men, we take care of our families, and this is the way, this way of life is showing us, a better way of life, being bikers and just doing things the way we're doing now. A lot of it is, coincides with, like, coming from that lifestyle, but, it's the same but different. It's hard to explain.
No,
It's to the point where we protect and stand with the community instead of destroying the community.
Right.
That's how we do it. Because there's been multiple times where we've had to protect, like during the riots in Minneapolis, we were down there, helping people protect their businesses and stuff, and looters and shit. So, and instead of that, we could have been out there rioting and looting.
Right.
But no.
What do you guys think of that whole lockdown? Like, I don't think they ever did that. I don't know.
You mean like the COVID lockdown?
Yeah,
With me, man, I'm what defined as a libertarian.
Okay.
What that means? Yeah. So me, honestly, man, with the lockdown, man, I can't see how with that, with the mask mandate, vaccine mandates, I don't know, man. Like, that's honestly why I haven't had a job in so long. Because if I want to go work somewhere, they're going to force me to get that vaccine, and I'm just
wear a mask.
So, I mean, that's honestly why I haven't been back in the workforce in a while, but, it's basically like, you have a say, but you don't.
It's crazy. I still can't say too much. Probably go on YouTube, but they're like getting sued and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cancel culture, man. I'm not. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I
Like
get it.
with my podcast, like I said, I want, if I were to start something like this, I'd be asking the tough questions. I'd be asking, like, things like
math questions. What are you talking about? Tough
Yeah.
Oh
questions?
no, I'm not good at math at
I'm
all.
talking about like Project Veritas type shit.
I'm like some shit that'll get you thinking. Like some shit that nobody ever really asks.
All
You know what I mean? Or some shit you think about that you want to ask, but you don't have the balls, or
Yeah.
like what's the answer gonna be? That's me. Like I said, I'm more hungry for information. I'm more hungry for more knowledge. Like I want to know. Like when I was in orientation, they were saying something about this and that, and the legalities and the technicalities of what they can and can't do as our bosses. And, jokingly, I was just like, well, what are you legally able to do? And I just said that. And she actually went into like a whole explanation as to what they're legally able to do, as to telling us what, how to do our jobs or what, legalize, whatever. But honestly, I mean, I just said that because, it crossed my mind. It was just a question I had. And, I mean, I tend to blurt out a lot of questions or a lot of things that before I even like fully think it through. I like to think about like when I answer something, I like to try and give the best truthful, honest answer I can give. But when it comes to like my own questions or something that's on my mind, I tend to just blurt it out. Or like I don't really think a lot of things through. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But yeah, I'm a little off like that. I guess
We got a motto. Shut up, Trey.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
What's going on with this rap I keep hearing about? I heard one or two. He pulled a couple raps. Like native like rap stuff going on.
He's more of an artist than I am. I say I used to write music.
Yeah. I got started middle school. I had some older cousins who would rap, and aunties and uncles. Their parents had a blues band, and that's where my music started. My taste in music was in blues. My love for music was in blues. And then as I got older, I started hanging out with my cousins and stuff. They were rappers. And, I was good on the drums. I was good on the bass. So I started making beats. And then they would just rap over those beats. And then it got to the point where I started writing my own. I was 9, 10 years old roughly.
Yep.
So, I'm 31 now. So I've been rapping for quite a while. I do play instruments from time to time, but I mostly make I'm hands-on with the beats, keyboards, drum pads. Nowadays, everything's digital, like the Fruity Loops and stuff. I don't really do too much of that. So, yeah, I like to be hands-on with the dials and, actually putting hands on the keys and the drum pads. And, if I get on a drum set, I'll get on a drum set. I don't care.
And the more he talks about a beat, the more he can murder one when it comes to the vocals and the lyricism. This brother right here, he's known for honestly just putting it down.
It's got to come to me, man. Like since I got out of the streets and hopped on a Harley, it's been a lot more easier for me to focus on because I can be more freely with what I rap about instead. Like when hip hop, it's like an attraction of the streets. And like once you take it out of that area, like you go to the country, the back roads and stuff like that. Hip hop is turning into that. Where you got a lot of country and hip hop and rock like Jelly Roll, and then you got like New Breed, and you got all these other guys who are doing stuff like that. So that's the route that I'm taking. Because my music is maturing as I'm maturing. Put it that way.
And I can hear it too. As a brother and as a fan of his music, man, I hear him maturing, with what he's saying and just the storyline and the punchlines of what he's saying, and it just flows together so good. Like I used to look up to him. I still do look up to him. He's my big brother, man. But like, when we first met in the music game, I was getting out of lockup from juvenile facility back when I was 15, 16 years old, and that's when we crossed paths. And he had already done a couple tracks with my brothers, my 2 older blood brothers, and I haven't even met him yet, and I already heard his music, so I'm like, damn, this thing can kill it. But I wanted to get on his level at some point. And, we've done a few things in the studio and shit, but I'm more of that. Like, I don't have any tracks or any like actual content that's out there. Most of my shit's underground or unfinished music. I put a verse down.
More of a fan.
Yeah, that too. I'm not really like an artist. I'm not pushing my music out there. I'm not promoting my shit. I want to get down on some shit, and I can flow, I can't write. I'm a better writer than a freestyler, but I mean, my music background is pretty much coming in behind them. But at the same time, like my brothers wanted to do this stuff, and they're somewhat of lyricists, and uh, my music it started with I'd say powwow, and then it's cultural, Native American cultural music, but it expanded into hip hop, with the Tupac and Biggie era, coming from the '90s, and I got into Bone Thugs and Easy, just kind of started going in that direction, and that's all mainstream and all, and then I started hitting like underground, like hearing these local rappers, native rappers, people from Minneapolis, Minnesota, you know.
But did that just blow your mind the first time you heard some rap or like some rappers? We were just like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Like,
Honestly, man, there's so much talent out here in Minnesota that goes unheard, that goes unsigned.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's got to be signed to like a major label or nothing, but I mean, there's so much people that go to prison or just their lives take a different turn, and they could have been something else, or they could have been, told a different story, through the music, and they just let it go. There's so much talent out there in this world, you know, in general, but I mean, in this state, Minnesota, and Minneapolis and northern Minnesota off the resin, like these guys here, man, I've been a fan of them since way back, and they're still, making music, and their music's good. They got content that's being put out there. They got content that's been out there, and that's what I'm saying. The difference between them and me is that, they're established. My shit's just, basically like a hobby, or, something that I do in the sidelines. Uh, like I said, he's more of a lyricist, more, well established and shit.
We go by last in the tribe.
Yeah, the rap.
Last in the tribe.
Um, he actually kind of gave me my. I don't even really go by a rap name anymore, but I was trying to find out, who my identity was, in the music industry. Mikey right here is the one that actually kind of helped come up with the name for me. He put it out there as crucial. He's like, crucial with the K. He's like, in rap, when you spit, when you trying to say shit, when you trying to tell your story, bro, it comes across as you're trying to say it, you're trying to get your point across. It's crucial. It's crucial that what you're saying. Your story is crucial. Something along those lines, and that's where that came from. I kind of go by it once in a while, but honestly, I mean, I don't know. Like, I really haven't been in the studio or done anything, musically for quite a while. I keep talking about I want to get back into it. And I want to make tracks and shit. He's actually got a studio at home, so I mean, it's so simple. Like, we could get down tonight. I mean, not tonight since you're out here, but we could literally jump in the studio by tomorrow and start putting something down. But it's not. To me, it doesn't come as naturally. I gotta take the time to write and
Just find the studio to make a song. Otherwise, I feel like my work isn't genuine. It's got to come to me. That's why my studio just sits there most of the time.
Right.
When I get an idea, I put a few words on my phone just to remember what I was thinking. When I get home, and I just pick it up from there.
Right.
The beat don't even matter. I find the beat ready.
Right.
Most of the time.
where do you guys get your ideas?
Honestly,
Experience for me, to be honest,
I try to rap about like things I've been through or like something I've experienced myself. A lot of it though, you're telling a story. There's a lot of people that are already trying to do that. There's a lane for that, and then there's a lot of people that are mainstream and like they got catchy songs, catchy punchlines, and they get radio play or there's so much more promotion when it comes to music like that. Like me, I'd say my best music's come from like when I write about people I've lost.
Yeah, same.
Um,
Or else just being like, well, like most rappers rap about like single, like their mom was a single mother. I'm the opposite. I had my dad. I didn't have my mother. So I rapped about that. My dad was drunk all the time. And I had to basically learn how to cook on my own because my dad was always drunk and a lot of that. So I rap about that kind of stuff. Just storytelling. Sounds kind of depressing. But,
when I write music, like if we were to sit down right now and put a beat on and just try and come up with a track, it's more of me trying to like appeal to my audience or like who's gonna be listening to my shit, so that I try and give them the vibe that they want to hear, and that's not to me that eventually doesn't come off genuine. Like what you said, you're trying, you're trying to, make a song that's gonna be, played in the club or played on the radio. Well, it's not really coming from the heart, you know what I mean? It's just something you're trying to be catchy and, basically just kind of go with the flow or go with the times. And like I said, for me, when I push out music, my best music comes from the heart. Like I got this shit from my cousin Trav. It's really old, some old shit, but it's probably one of my best flows. My brother Paul passed away. I wrote like kind of more of like a low spoken word type poetry, but that's some cold shit that flows together if I put it on the track. And then just you know, I've been writing, here and there, but it's like when I lose somebody, that's when my shit comes from the heart. Like I don't even think about it. Like it's more of like putting my feelings on paper.
Yeah.
And then I'll just go back and record it. For Mike right here, man, it just comes naturally for him. For me, I actually got to sit and take the time to it's something I experienced and been through, but when I write, that's why I think he calls me crucial because I'm trying to get my point across, the best way I can and make it rhyme all while, still telling my story.
Right.
It kind of distracts me from, the point I'm trying to get across, or, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't really come natural for me. I kind of got to push it out there, or focus and dedicate my time on it, and put my effort into it for it to turn out the way I like it to. And I'm actually more of a perfectionist, when it comes to anything that I, release or drop or anything like that. So for me, it's actually hard to like put a track out there and be satisfied with it.
Yeah, I got a lot of them sitting on my computer.
Yeah, he's got a lot of unfinished work. And I'm on a few, or not a few, but I'm on a couple of them. I got a couple verses here and there. They got an old computer of there's a few verses of mine that, never just even went anywhere. I got put down or anything, just unfinished work.
But I use that same one too.
Right.
Yeah. Same program that Audacity.
Yeah, probably the smaller one works pretty well. So.
That Audacity you're using?
Yeah, just Audacity.
There's been times where he was sitting at my brother's house and his brother sent him something and he was just sitting there recording his verse and he said something like he's actually got kids with my cousin. So like, we're brothers through the club and shit, but like, we're close shit too. But my cousin is his old lady. They have kids together and shit. And he was writing this track one time and he said something along the lines of Polaroid rice and put hands on my lady. And I was sitting in the other room and I fucked him up because I didn't know he was like actively recording it. I thought he was just like spitting it, trying to get it down. Right. And I was like, that's my cousin you're talking about. And like, how you got background noise, but he's in the middle of recording his verse talking about something, and I was like, that's my cousin you're talking about. And he kind of bust out laughing. Like, damn, bro, I was in the middle of recording. I almost had it. I'm like, fuck, my bad, bro.
Yeah, I can't mess it up after.
Yeah. And he almost had it on that take too. So I mean, there's times like, rest in peace, my cousin Wayne. But we were sitting in the studio back in 2014 in Monoman, and Mike just pressed record one time, and there was about good 15 minutes of content, just of us bullshit talking, sitting around smoking, and none of us knew it was recording. And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Hey, bro, I've been recording this like 15 minutes. Let's play it back."
That wouldn't be bad to have like 15 tracks and have you had at the end. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. It was just kind of like like we weren't having a studio session. We were in the middle of trying to write some music, but it wasn't really coming together. We were just more drinking, smoking, and just trying to set the mood right to put something down. And yeah, so our whole conversation when we played it back, it was just funny as hell. But like honestly, that year though, man, rest in peace, Wayne.
I actually got some songs written out of that recording. Some of the things we were talking about, I wrote some stuff down.
Oh, damn.
And, it was pretty cool, man.
Right.
Some ideas, funny, make people laugh.
Yeah, honestly, we played that shit back and we were just cracking up. I mean, like, half the shit we were talking about didn't even make sense. Like, we were talking about it 15 minutes prior, and we were asking ourselves after listening to it, like, the fuck were we even talking about? But, yeah, man, with that being said, though, some of the best music, Mike's put down was with my cousin Wayne, and Mike's still pushing on a lot of good shit. Rest in peace, man.
But that's the kind of rap that he would do, too. Without the pressure.
Yeah. You can hear a lot of pain in his voice, let alone, what he was saying in his story and shit. And, I mean, if you knew anybody, if you knew the outcome of what happened, you could almost see it coming through his music. But we didn't see it coming in person.
I take the truth I tell in my music, and I do it on here, because it's cut that I work for the day boy, that means one of these truth.
Yeah.
So it's been true about me ever since I started, man. When I started rapping, I was telling the truth. That's long as fuck. I'm not gonna lie to you about a damn thing.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying. Is a lot of people put caps in their clothes and be talking about this or that, and or they tote guns and they do this and that and they sell drugs. And they might have, you know what I'm saying? They might have seen a gun or they might have, sold a dime bag or something like that. But honestly, they put a lot of cap in it, make it sound like they're a fucking, drug kingpin or somebody, some big shot collar and shit. They're just some average ass Joe, And for me, I don't want to kind of put that kind of music out there. I don't want to be known as somebody that got cap in their rap.
Yeah.
So for me, that's the same way. Like being from this club, yeah, we like to speak the truth. But when I put effort into my music, I also want to put shit that I've been through. Tell my story. Tell my story through my music and shit.
Yeah.
Did this man tell you that he also sings in Ojibwe?
No.
Because he also sings in Ojibwe and plays the big drum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cold.
I have sang on the drum with my family, Smokey Hill. And I was singing a few summers ago. But otherwise, honestly, I really don't. Like I said, I started off in power music, and then I drifted towards hip hop. Actually, I like a lot of jazz right now, jazz and blues. But yeah, before I leave, or before we end this podcast, I want to mention so that if anybody's out there listening, Jay Harley, J-A like Ja, and Harlin, Harlin, Ja Harlin. He's a local artist out of Minneapolis. He's blowing up. He's about ready. He's got the talent. He's got the voice. And he's gaining the content. He's gaining the fan base as we speak. So if anybody wants to jump on board with a local artist before they blow up, go look up Ja Harlin on YouTube and all other platforms. Because, man, that boy's out there killing it, doing his thing. And
We got local Red Lakers too, and Lyrical Native Production.
Yup. Local, back to town music.
Support local music. I think we gotta do hip hop, man. He's our brother Corey Medina. He's got a really good band, Corey Medina and Brothers.
He's actually well known. You probably look him up on YouTube, or I'm sure probably half of your podcast listeners probably know who that is.
He's a good singer and plays guitar. He's really good, man.
Lobotomized Geniuses, man. Like I said, man, there's a lot of good talent in Minnesota. You just gotta keep your ears open, man. It ain't on the radio and it ain't in the club. Like this is like little hip hop shows and like
We got
artists that open up for like bigger artists and shit.
graphic designers who do album art and stuff like that, promotional posters and stuff, flyers and stuff for artists and stuff. So we collaborate, graphic designers and then just artists all around. It doesn't matter what kind of art. Right. Like painters who paint Harleys, stuff like that.
That is one cool thing I noticed. Like, it's just like, I think you know what's out there, and then you're like, this is like a whole other world. But this and that. But,
But you saying that, man, like I said, I come from a gang background. I'm Native American. I grew up over stuff, the lifestyle I lived growing up, I used to go past the caboose all the time and see all these bikers. And I never used to think nothing of it. I honestly thought, I thought from the outside looking in, or that was the mindset. I never knew that I turned out to be a biker or be affiliated and associated with anybody, from this type of world. And now that, like I said, I didn't know how to ride a bike 2 years ago. I'm still learning a lot of things when it comes to this club lifestyle. But at the same time, with that being said, uh, like I said before, when I grew up, I never knew I'd become a biker. Now that I am one, it's a lot different.
Like the bikers were like kind of an outside thing when we were in the streets, and now the bikers in the streets are kind of like an outside thing.
Kind of, exactly. That's kind of what I'm trying to get to.
Who's in what they would call the hood? We don't know.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like my friends list on my Facebook used to be nothing but gang members and thugs, and plugs and all this and that. Now I got, biker brothers from, clubs from here, clubs from there, different states. You know what I'm saying? A lot of respect, a lot of, and then, right,
whatever, doesn't matter.
Back in the day, I used to think, all this gang shit's my family or whatever, and that they'd help me and be there for me when I needed it. And when it came down to it, they were never there. And that's what we used to think is called our family, is the gang. Well, nah, man, this patch, this club life here, this club, Dave Way MC, these are my actual brothers, man. And anytime I call on them, they'll pull up for me and the same way, you know, they call on me, you know, prospect or not. I went out of my way to make sure my brothers are good. Go out of my way to make sure I'm good, you know. Same way, just tonight, Tony came and got us on the side of the road, a flat tire, just like that, you know.
Right. That was a good drive.
Right. You know, so that's the kind of brotherhood we're about, and that's the kind of thing we were looking for in gangs back in the day, you know, this lifestyle. So, yeah, it sounds like we're getting our night wrapped up. We gotta get going.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Bro.
You got any quick advice for the kids out there, the young guys?
Man, stay away from gangs, stay away from drugs, all that nonsense.
Yeah.
But honestly, man,
Motorcycle enthusiasts are not gangs.
if you buy your son a bike, he'll have more time spending money on parts than drugs. You know what I mean?
Fact.
You know, get your kid. If you're an adult listening to this, get your kids into this. And if you're a kid listen to this. Start getting into bikes, man, and start getting into something that you like, something that you love. Whether it's basketball, whether it's music, whether it's gaming, whether it's podcasts, whether it's a business, you know, whatever makes you money, whatever makes you happy.
There's a platform for damn near everything.
Right. And then I'd say, don't wait till you're 20. Don't wait till you're 30. Just start now, man. I'm 29 years old. I should have been in college. I would be graduated, been done, and I already had my business and do everything I wanted to do, you know, growing up.
Don't think about it. Just do it.
Right. Quit dreaming and just wake up and start doing it. Make it a reality.
Don't think about it. Just do it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Definitely.
What a bit.
We gotta figure that